you want to show me something? Okay, the buddy doesn't know where the wheels on his Legos are supposed to go, so welcome to my world. And this is a part that I edit out.
You better not put weird random outtakes on this.
I
Like
probably
that
will.
right there.
What are you talking about? Why would I not do that? People love that.
Then I'll never.
People
videos
love
again.
bloopers. Everybody tell them that you love the bloopers. Hey everybody, welcome back to See Mindy Mom. I'm Mindy and I have Mr. See Mindy Mom, my husband, Pastor Daniel, with me today, and we thought that we would shoot a quick video here. It probably won't be very quick actually.
She talks a lot.
About our 2019 finances, what our finances look like and what some of our financial goals are, so stay tuned. Okay, so it is the end of a long weekend and we have been kind of out and about doing various and sundry errands, and we have been putting off making this video for a little while. We've had some good reasons for it, and then we've just had some excuses. We just, you know, didn't have time or didn't make the time, so we thought we would pop on here and try to get this filmed so that we can get this up and out there to you guys. So we're just kind of in our lounge clothes, and I'm drinking my tea, he's drinking his coffee. We have shared a couple of finance videos. We did one actually at the very end of 2018 where we shared our 2018 financial wins and fails. And I know I mentioned in that video, and we'll be back real soon to give you the plan for 2019. And here it is, the middle of February, and we're just getting around to it. So we mentioned in our 2018 video, financial wins and fails, kind of a little backstory on what our finances were last year. It was a really crazy year. We moved, we both changed jobs. I quit my full-time teaching job and my husband took a new job. And so we had this sort of transitional period where I was still bringing in my teaching salary, because the way teaching salaries work, even though we finish with our contract year in May, they actually have to catch up paying us through the summer. So my last teaching paycheck was in August, and September was the first month where I did not get a paycheck for my full-time job as a teacher. My husband had transitioned to his new position in June. The first part of the year with both of us working these two jobs, we had the middle part of the year where he was working a new job at a different salary and I was still making the same salary, and then we had the last part of the year where we were budgeting only his salary and I was not making a salary, but I was making a little money on the side substitute teaching and working in a very small part-time capacity with the church. That brings us to now, to 2019, and what has happened essentially is that both of us have seen an increase in our income because both of us have actually transitioned into different positions with the church officially. So we have just now seen what it is that we're going to be making from here on out. Some things that made that transition easier for us. Number one, we did not have any debt outside of our mortgage. We don't have car payments. We don't have credit card debt. We don't have student loans or any personal loans. So we were not having to come up with a way to service debt while trying to simultaneously change up our budget and spend less money. So I think that that makes a huge difference.
We had also built up a little bit extra money in the summer when I had a higher salary, plus we were still making her salary, her teaching salary. So that allowed us to get ahead in a lot of categories and pad savings a little bit, which helped in the leaner months as we closed out 2018.
And also we had a, I think Dave Ramsey people call it a fully funded emergency fund. We call it long-term savings, meaning it's money that we hope we never need, but in case of an emergency or in case of, you know, a catastrophic event or something in our lives, we have this money set back. We kind of had that cushion to fall on if we needed, and we did have to borrow just a little bit of money from ourselves. I think it was somewhere around like $700 or $800 at the end of 2018 from that fund to take care of some places where we were in a deficit in some categories in our budget. And I think you told me we have since paid that back to our long-term savings.
Yeah, with our tax refund, we were able to pay that back.
So we're back up to the same threshold with our long-term savings. So we are not Dave Ramsey people. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with Dave Ramsey. You're going to get so much hate for that right there.
Dave's great for some people.
Yeah.
He really is.
It's funny because a lot of the tenets of the Dave Ramsey plan we still
Absolutely
live by. You know, we don't live beyond our means. You know, we don't spend money that we don't have. But the biggest difference in the way we budget and the way we spend money is that we do use credit cards. We use credit cards as if they were cash. And so we put, you know, when we get gas or when we get groceries, when we make purchases that we're going to make anyway, we have a budgeted amount in our budget that every month we're trying not to go over, but we do put those expenses on a credit card, and then at the end of the month we pay off all of our credit cards, and that is how we accrue so many credit card rewards and points, and we have taken some really, really awesome, nearly free or completely free vacations as a result of the points that we accrue on those cards.
Yeah, we're planning one right now.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Anyway, right now I'm going to insert a clip. I'm going to pop into Screencast, and I'm going to show you what our budget looks like moving forward. It is February now, so we have kind of, we've figured out what it is that we're going to be making from here on out, and we have figured out how we were going to budget that, and so I'm going to go ahead and insert that clip and tell you how we spend our money every month.
All right, I am going to take just a couple minutes and walk you through our budget. So these are exact figures for what we budget and how we use that money. So this figure right here is our monthly income that we budget. So taxes are already paid for out of this. We fund our HSA before, you know, it's pre-tax. So this is basically our take-home figure. I don't know why this is on here, but this is more or less what we currently have in our health savings account. So we're working off of this figure right here. So I'm just going to start at the top and walk through. So our mortgage payment is actually $1,700, but one of our goals when we bought the house was to pay more, to pay above and beyond that. We've actually been paying $1,900, and we've been funding that just through a surplus that we had. Again, we mentioned we had a couple of great months in the summer where we had both incomes. So we've got a balance there. So obviously we're not budgeting $1,900. That's what we're paying. Our goal over the next, probably by next year, is to have this figure at $1,900. Utilities, pretty self-explanatory. That's going to be cell phones, electric, gas. We've increased this just a little bit just to really kind of keep up with inflation. This is money here, our tithe that we give away to a church and various charities and faith-based ministries. As we give about, let's see, it's 12.5% is what we're giving away here. Next one's life insurance. We each have life insurance policies, a couple of different policies. Some are paid monthly. We've got one that's annually, and I think one that's quarterly. So that's more or less how much we need times 12 months to fund both policy or all the policies that we have over the course of a year. Auto is another one. So this is going to be gas and oil changes and typical maintenance. Also auto insurance. And we've increased this one almost $100. Really, we want to start carrying a balance here, knowing that we're going to want to buy a new car at some point in the next 1 to 3 years. So we're, you know, hopeful that we would have a balance here. Certainly not enough to just buy a car outright, but between what we might have in this account and short-term and long-term savings, the goal would be to buy a car without having to finance it. So this house, really, this is for yard maintenance. Fertilizing and weed treatment. We do mosquito spraying. They're terrible at our house here. We're starting to pay for people to come and do some landscaping work and that kind of stuff. So this is one we want to keep increasing every year, again with the goal to be to outsource all of the yard work eventually. Recreation is one that we've increased from last year. So this is, you know, date nights and eating out and just fun stuff like that. Vacation, pretty self-explanatory. We don't put much money here because we typically pay for our vacations with credit card points. This says daycare, but it should actually be activities. We've changed it to our activities account, so this is going to pay for piano lessons and gymnastics and soccer and that sort of thing. Long-term savings looks pretty unimpressive. $70 a month is certainly, you would want to be putting more to that. Certainly our goal is to continue to increase that, but we feel really good about what we have in long-term savings right now, which is $24,500. So that's a nice safety net for us. So buys us some time to slowly increase what we are putting there. Last year we weren't putting anything, so it's good to start at least putting something there. Next one is clothing, pretty self-explanatory. This is pretty close to what we had in there last year. Consumables is all groceries and household items. We've increased this probably about $100, and mostly just because we weren't putting enough there in 2018. Miscellaneous, it truly is miscellaneous. It's dry cleaning, it's haircuts, just random miscellaneous expenses that come up. Short-term savings, we've increased this one from last year and hope to continue increasing it, knowing we have a big house that's just going to take maintenance, it's going to take furnishings, and so we want new furniture and that sort of thing. So that's how we spend that money, and that was a goal to increase that, and we have been able to do that. Our IRA, we were not putting anything in it last year, so this is a nice increase for us. We do put $500 a month into a 403B, that's pre-tax money. So this is not the only retirement money. This is just a separate retirement policy. And again, I have a pension that builds money every year, and Mindy has a pension. We're not funding it right now because she's not teaching, but when she goes back, then that will continue to get funded as well. And then presents stayed pretty close to the same as last year. I think it went up just a little bit, but Christmas presents, birthday presents, kids go to birthday parties, need to buy presents there. So that's a rundown of our budget. You'll notice there's nothing in there for medical, because any medical expenses we pay with our health savings. I don't remember if I said this, but we're putting $500 a month into that every month as well. So that's a snapshot of the budget. Would love to answer any questions you have on that.
Now that you have seen how it is that we budget our money every month and what our money is going towards each month, we have jotted down a few 2019 financial goals. Number one is to start putting money into savings again, both short-term and long-term savings, which my husband talked about whenever he was going over our budget with you just a couple of minutes ago. And we kind of stopped doing that just for those few months whenever we were having less money coming in, because we had fully funded our long-term savings, and because we didn't really have any money to spare for short-term savings for different household projects and things like that. And where short-term savings are concerned, we have a few purchases that we would like to save up for. One of them is a new phone for me. It's several generations old, and I don't mind having an older phone, but I just know that eventually they start to get kind of slow, or they break, they don't work, they won't hold charge. We're starting to get to that point, and so rather than be hit with a several $100 expense, when it dies, I want to be able to have that money set aside. Another thing that I really want, we are saving for some living room furniture, and there are a couple of small improvements I want to make to the living room where I can kind of make it more accessible to hosting large groups, and so I want to be able to buy some new furniture. We're going to get a larger TV for in there and possibly have an electrician come in so we can mount the TV in a different part of the room. So there's just some home improvements where that's concerned.
We were putting some in short-term savings last year. What we want to do is increase it because we weren't putting enough, and we were using some of it for various yard projects. And so another goal in 2019 is to budget for yard work. The long-term goal there, knowing that I have a really demanding job and our kids are going to only get busier and busier, and I want to be able to spend my free time with family when I have it and not out doing yard work. So the long-term goal, as hopefully salaries increase, would be to outsource all of that.
We have a pretty high maintenance backyard right now.
Yeah, we
it's
have a
beautiful.
big yard.
We love to entertain and have it, but we have a koi pond back there, so obviously that's gonna need the water and the motor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Occasionally has to be serviced. There's all kinds of trees and shrubs and flowers and bushes and stuff, and that is not my thing at all. I do not do yard work. I mean, yard work for me is sweeping the porch off so I can sit under the porch. and not set foot in the yard. We have a long-term savings that's for emergencies, for unforeseen things. We have a short-term savings that is just we're trying to save up money for a specific purpose, and those are some of the things that we're trying to save for. But also, we wanted to start budgeting money for activities specifically for our kids. So previously we had a category that was daycare because our 2 youngest ones were in daycare, and we have basically turned that category into activities. We have a daughter who takes gymnastics. We have a daughter who takes piano lessons. Our son wants to play soccer. All of our kids we want them to take swim lessons, and our older daughter, we want her to be able to start doing swim like as a club activity. And those things add up. Even things at school like purchasing their yearbook and purchasing, putting money in their lunch accounts. It adds up really, really fast. Increase money to retirement.
Yeah, I mean, we've been putting a pretty good amount into retirement, but you know, as I crunch the numbers and do the long-term projections, you know, we just need to keep putting it there, even though we both have a pension.
I had to be 79. If I never taught another year, I could draw teacher retirement at the age of 79 because I've taught 11 years, and it's number of years taught plus your age has to equal 90. Monetizing my channel, that was one of our financial goals, and we've already been able to do that. So you don't make big money from a YouTube channel. I mean, some people do when they make it a full-time job, and there are lots of ways that you can monetize your channel. You can use affiliate links. You can obviously apply for a Google AdSense account, let YouTube run ads on your videos. You can do sponsorships and stuff. I haven't really waded really deep into all of that, and this is going to continue to be a hobby for me. But if I can make just a little bit of money from it, that's money that I can put back into the channel. Like, one of the things that we want to save for is a nice camera, because right now I film everything on my phone. It can purchase things for giveaways. It can purchase, editing equipment. Eventually, I might be able to go to, like a convention or a workshop or something for YouTubers to learn how to do things better so I can make better content for you guys. But I have been able to monetize this channel, and again, I'm not becoming a millionaire. We're becoming dozenaires. It's making dozens of dollars a month right now. But really, it still is exciting, to see kind of that work pay off, because it is a lot of work to do these videos, to get the footage, to do the editing, and it is, a risk. It's putting my life out there for people to see. So if somebody wants to pay me a little bit of money for that, then we're okay with that. So we have had a goal since we were first married, really. We have always tithed. We've always tithed, right? Which is we give 10% of our income to the church, and we have had this goal of increasing that percentage by 1/4 to 1/2% as long as we can. So right now we are at 12.5%. Is it 12.5%? But that's something that we do every year, is try to increase our giving, specifically in our tithe. So. All right, you guys, that's what we have for you. I'm sure we could talk about this for a long time. We like to talk about finances. If you have questions, feel free to leave them in the description box. Leave us a comment if you want to ask us a question. I really do not mind at all filming some financial videos. I think I'm going to start a series where I just check in with you every month and I show you what our budget looks like at that time, and how we did in the previous month with our budget, if there were places where we overspent, if there were places where we've saved enough to do something. So I will check in with you guys again, and if you want to leave questions, we'll hop on here again and maybe do a little budget Q&A. So as always, I'd love it if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not subscribed already. Leave us a comment, like I said, and we'll check in with you again really soon.